Yes, everybody, yes. Welcome back to another hot installment of a very special podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about all your favorite TV series from yesteryear. Oh, yeah. And then we discuss them over a glass of wine. I'm Patrick M. Dunn. Perhaps you remember me from the previous galaxy of episodes. And I'm joined here, as always, by Kat Halstead, the author. Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, we're back. We're back in the dead of winter. It's the dead of winter right now. It's cold where I am, and it's
Dead of freaking winter.
What's it doing for you? Isn't it like a big storm or something?
Yes, we are in a blizzard. It's so bad out that authorities have said if you do not have to actually be out, do not go out.
Yeah, listen to those authorities. The authorities always know what to do.
I had a job interview scheduled for today. They're like, yeah, we're going to reschedule for tomorrow because the weather is that bad.
Yeah, we didn't want Kat Halstead slipping off the road, maybe being lost in the Colorado woods, and I'd have to temporarily replace you until we found you. Maybe January Jones would join in for a few weeks while we were out looking for Kat Halstead. She's trapped in ice, living off, ramen noodles that she has in her car.
Where the hell do you think okay, what do you think Colorado Springs is like? Do you think it's just like woods?
No, but you never know. Maybe
it's Olympic City, USA, dude. Come on now.
I don't know. Maybe there's a foresty road that you have to go down that not many people travel down. I don't know. No one thinks to look down there because it's like, hey, why would she go down there? Why would she do that?
Let's be real. I wouldn't.
I don't know.
I wouldn't. I stick to one road. I stick to one way to go anywhere.
So is it like Denver Dynasty where you live? Is it all built up and city-like?
Yeah, it's total city.
My apologies to the state of Colorado. I'm sorry, you may have legalized weed, but you didn't change my mind of what your state looks like. I just pictured woods and mountainous ravines and Kat Halstead, the author, trapped in one, eating ramen noodles that she had in the backseat of her car that she was going to bring to lunch for work. But instead, she has to ration it for the next 2 weeks.
I probably should put some ramen noodles in the trunk.
Yeah. Well, put them in the backseat.
I have bottled water.
That way, put them in the backseat. That way, if the car flips over, it'll just roll down closer to you, and then you could just take a few nibbles here or there.
I mean, no, remember I drive a Jeep, so it's not like the trunk is a different thing.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The trunk is right behind the back seat.
Oh yeah, so I could roll it. We can roll it to your lips as the car's flipping.
Yeah.
And we're all worried about you. We're all concerned.
I've already been in one car accident where the car flipped over, so let's not put me in another.
Yeah, you only get once a life, girl. Once a life. That's the rules according to God. Yeah, God. All right. We're really excited about what we're doing tonight.
Yes.
We've been talking about doing this for a while. You know, we finally added it to our list, to our agenda.
We're doing Newsradio! As I hold up the DVD as if people can see me besides Patrick.
Yes, we're doing Newsradio, the very popular, but not quite a hot hit NBC sitcom that aired from 1995 to 1999. Mm-hmm. It starred a plethora of gal pals and boy toys like Mara Tierney, Dave Foley, Phil Hartman. Shout out to Phil Hartman.
Yes.
Vicki Lewis, right? Not Lawrence, Vicki Lewis.
Yes, Vicki Lewis.
Yes. Shout out to Vicki Lewis. What has she been up to? I don't know. I feel like
she's done some random stuff. She pops up every so often something.
Like she plays like a teacher or something, or maybe like a mom.
She plays an executive or something like that. She just pops up really randomly. You'll be like, "Whoa, hey!"
Yeah, she's very secretarial looking. I don't know, because she plays she's mm-hmm. Beth, right? She plays Beth in Newsradio.
Yeah, she's our girl Beth, the gum chewing, wacky dressed assistant.
Yeah. All right. So in the 90s, when this show was on, I used to confuse Vicki Lewis with Vicki Lawrence, just in name only. I know they're two widely different people. And I used to always confuse her with Kathy Griffin.
I see that. I mean, I kind of get the two Vickies, because they're both named Vicki. They're both redheads, and they're both funny.
And they both have a last name that starts with L.
But
that's a man's name.
Yeah. And then I definitely see her and Kathy Griffin thing. Especially because back in the day, they were both on NBC sitcoms, playing the quirky secretary.
And Kathy, this is pre Kathy Griffin widely known by the masses.
Yeah.
So it was just this is the show with that quirky redhead assistant.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wait, no, it's not that quirky redhead assistant. It's the other quirky redhead assistant. So, ooh, yeah. Yeah, Kathy Griffin was on Suddenly Susan, right?
Yes, with Brooke Shields and Judd Nelson.
Okay, which I also used to confuse with Veronica's Closet. I used to mix those two up too.
Veronica's Closet's the one with Kirstie Alley and Kathy Najimy.
Yes. I don't know.
And Dan Cortez.
NBC had a lot of shows that are very similar, like in style, like in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So it's very like confusing time for me. I don't know. They all took place in New York. They were all about like young executives.
Yeah.
Similar looking cast members, like a lot of comedians trying to break into the sitcom world. So it was a brave new world, I guess, for NBC.
They had a very like specific formula that they tried to fit.
Yeah, and I feel like
into different types of businesses.
Yeah, like they just like threw this like a similar premise, but just changed like the business that was run. It was like Newsradio is about like a radio station, but Veronica's Closet's about like a fashion magazine or something.
No, Veronica's Closet was the Victoria's Secret like company, the lingerie company.
And Suddenly Susan was a fashion magazine, right?
Suddenly Susan was like the San Francisco magazine.
Okay, yeah. All right, see what I mean? I'm like confused. I'm fucking wildly confused, girl. NBC, you did it.
And then you're like, bitch, how do you know this stuff?
Well,
this is just the shit that lives in my brain.
Yes. Cut it out, Truman. You're ruining our podcast again. Second week in a row that you're barking at nothing.
Does Truman think he's in a bubble part of a reality show?
Yeah, he's for all our ASMR listeners out there that enjoy the sounds of like a dog randomly interrupting a podcast. This one's for you, girl. This one's for you. Shall we talk about this night of television? You want to get into this hot night?
Yes. What was on this night of television? Let me guess. It was a hot, wild night.
Yes, it was a very hot night, and I'm surprised that it was on a Sunday night.
A Sunday?
Yeah, I didn't associate Newsradio with being on Sundays.
To be fair, Newsradio got moved around like all the freaking time.
Yeah.
That was one of the things with the show is like it got moved all over the schedule.
Yeah, I looked it up. It was 11 times total. 11 times, girl.
Damn.
Yeah. I guess it was that thing, we've talked about it before, that NBC would like take its modest hits, like the ones that they weren't like Seinfeld level of fame, but they did well, and they would sometimes move them around with like lesser known hits to kind of like amp up the night.
Yeah.
I guess that's Newsradio. It's just one of those modest hits that, you know what, it's got its like loyal viewers. If we just throw it on like a random Sunday, you know, maybe people will follow it and it'll like work up this other show, give numbers to this hot other show.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like before DVRs, before you could like schedule to record a show whenever it was on.
Yeah, you had to use a VCR.
So it was really luck of the draw, like if you could find it.
Yeah, and like we didn't have that like cool like cable guide like on your TV that would just like you could search for the show and it would just like tell you when it was on. You actually like had to use that like preview guide channel that scrolled.
Yes.
Or you had to be subscribed to TV Guide, or you get that weird like one that comes in the newspaper on Sundays.
Like you had to just like wait.
Yeah. So
watch this scroll, and you always like just missed the channel you wanted to see.
Yeah. Or
so you'd like have to wait through all the other channels.
Yeah, and you never knew like when an episode was going to be like new or a repeat. Like you would just like find out that night it was on.
Yeah.
Unless like you watch TV all the time and you saw like ads for it.
And even then.
Yeah, even then sometimes you didn't know. You couldn't tell. So we're doing a season 2 episode of Newsradio. It's called Bitch Session. Yeah, Bitch Session. And this aired on Sunday, January 14th, 1996.
Yeah.
So we're in like 8th grade, I think is what I pinpointed at this time.
1996, January, yeah.
So we're in 8th grade.
We're in 8th grade.
We're entering puberty. We're starting to get hair in our balls.
What year? 1996?
Yeah.
January?
Yeah.
Dude, no, we are freshmen in high school.
Are you sure? Because I felt like we started off the year 1995.
January 6th, 1996, Sunset Beach aired for the first time.
It was 1997, girl. That was 1997.
1997? Am I really off?
Yeah, you're off, girl. You're way off. The only reason I know is because you fucking repost that every goddamn January like it's fucking... like it's Pearl Harbor Day.
January 6th, Patrick Stephen.
Yeah, like, oh, God.
Here we go.
Fucking block you on Facebook.
Fuck you.
Like, I don't even use Facebook, but I get these stupid, like, email where it's like, Kat Olsen has tagged you in a post, and I have to fucking log into Facebook to see what it is. And it's like, fucking, you reminded me about fucking Sunset Beach. Like, it's been fucking 23 years, girl. Let it go. Let it go, finally. Finally, just fucking.
Okay, so yeah, we're in 8th grade at this point. You were right, I was wrong. Math is hard. I majored in English for a reason.
All right, we're going to start off with the alphabet. You ready? You ready to start off with ABC?
Yeah.
ABC, 7 p.m. Do you have any guesses what will be on a Sunday night on ABC at 7?
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah, full hour. A full goddamn hour with Bob Saget, which I think this is still Bob Saget era, I believe. This is probably like near the end of his run.
Yeah.
This is like when we're just starting to get tired of him. Like, it's a little too much for us now. Like, we're getting too old for his shenanigans and his voiceovers.
Like, how many times can you watch a guy get hit in the nuts with a football?
Yeah. Like, they need to mix it up. They need to add, like, Daisy Fuentes to the mix or something.
She's too busy on the show with Dave Foley.
No. That wasn't Daisy Fuentes.
It wasn't?
No.
Sure.
Daisy Fuentes did, like, very briefly, she did AFV when they rebranded it.
Oh, okay.
And at this point in time, Daisy Fuentes is probably still on MTV doing, I don't know, House of Style or something, or what the fuck she did.
Whatever she did. All I know is, I'm not gonna lie, I've bought stuff from her clothing line. And I'm still shook she's married to Richard Marx.
Oh, that's right. What's her clothing line? It's like, it's Kmart? Is that? No, that's Kathy Ireland. It's Kathy Ireland.
As if Kmart's still a fucking thing, let's be real.
There's like 3 Kmarts left in the country.
Actually, wait, how is Kmart still a thing if Sears is going bankrupt? Because Sears owns Kmart.
By the time this episode airs, like a week from now, all the Kmarts will be closed. Or it'll be like that lone Blockbuster that's still around.
The one that just is there still for some reason.
Yeah, it's in like Alaska. It's in like the northern exposure town, just chilling. People are still going there and renting like movies from 2002 because, I don't know, they stopped getting new movies.
They're still renting movies from like 1995 and they're still listed as the new releases. Sorry, Alaska.
Yeah, you want to go and rent The Glass House with Lily Sobieski? Feel free. They have like 30 copies on DVD just in case they all sell out. They got 29 extra. All right. You ready for ABC 8 p.m.? Do you have any guesses?
Yes. No idea.
Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Dean Cain, Teri Hatcher, and a plethora of fun villains. They wanted to rebrand Superman, but they wanted to like put an emphasis on Lois and Clark instead of like make it like a superhero show.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun. It was fun for a little while, but they did that. They strung out that will they won't they for a little too long, and then they finally like had Superman and Lois Lane get married, and then it just like fell apart very quickly after that. So people stopped watching it.
You know what? Just the other day, I found out that some of my coworkers do not know who Teri Hatcher is.
What?
Or that she played Lois Lane.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I was like, I have to walk away now. Because they didn't even know she was a desperate housewife. And I was like, okay, I really have to walk away now. I'm like, I'm going over here.
In their defense, were they watching like Kim Possible at this time or something? Whenever like Desperate Housewives was on?
No, this person is not that much younger than me.
Oh.
It wasn't one of those.
I feel like...
It was someone who's not that much younger than me, and I was still like, really? You're telling me you did not download that picture of Teri Hatcher wrapped in the American flag, aka the most downloaded picture in America at one point?
Yeah, I feel like 1994 to like 2008 was like Teri Hatcher's like realm. Like she was inescapable. She was everywhere. She was on Ellen dancing. She was maybe Oprah. I don't know. One of those shows. I don't know. Yeah, I remember her like doing like a twerk on like some daytime talk show, and like this is when like she was probably like in her late 30s, and I was like, Teri Hatcher, you're too old for this shit, girl. You're too old. Go get some Botox or something. Do they know who Dean Cain is? Is like Dean Cain like a household name still?
I didn't ask. I was like too blown away.
I get you. I understand your plight.
I mean, we know I love me some Dean Cain. I mean, it was a little lonely this year without him being in a Christmas movie.
Yeah, maybe. I
was missing him this year.
Maybe he's secretly hooking up with Teri Hatcher. They're working on a Lois and Clark revival. Who knows? We'll find out. So I subscribe to the DC Universe. So Hot Scoop, Lois and Clark is on there, and I'm thinking about getting into it this weekend. I'm going to have myself a little Lewis and Clark marathon. Oooga.
Ooh, nice.
All right. I'll let you know how it goes. All right. You ready for ABC 9 o'clock?
Yeah, what's on after Lois and Clark? Probably some like made-for-TV movie.
It's a movie. It's a movie. We're going to the movies, but it's a cinematic movie. It's a broadcast of Last of the Mohicans. Yeah.
Oh. I feel bored.
Yeah, Kevin Costner. This was Kevin Costner's like era when this movie came out too. This was like,
Hey, Patrick, Last of the Mohicans is not Kevin Costner. It's Daniel Day-Lewis.
what? Oh, I'm thinking of Dancing with Wolves. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But even then, I'm still bored.
You know what? It's like old timey. It's like someone wrapped up in like fur. So shout out. I do love myself some Daniel Day-Lewis though. He was Lincoln. Is that he was in the Lincoln movie?
Yes, he was Lincoln.
A few other bold roles over the years.
Jim Morrison of The Doors.
I thought that was Val Kilmer for some reason.
I'm pretty sure. See, now I'm gonna look this up because otherwise it's gonna bug me. I'm like 95% sure Daniel Day-Lewis played Jim Morrison.
We're just fucking things up tonight, left and right.
He did play David Koresh.
Was that?
I think. Didn't he? Is that who that was? No, I'm really getting things fucked up. Never mind. Just ignore me. I'm getting people mixed up. You're getting people mixed up.
Yeah. Vicki Lewis, Vicki Lawrence, Kathy Griffin, Kevin Costner, Daniel Day-Lewis.
I should actually maybe just pull up IMDb instead of Google, because that will actually tell me the roles he played.
Oh, God. Okay, we're getting a lot of angry tweets from Heather this week. Correction corner. All right. Why don't you just go on to CBS?
Like, I want her to hashtag those correction corner.
All right, you want to just go over to CBS? We'll just fucking call this a loss.
Yeah, go.
So CBS, 7 p.m., 60 minutes. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
All right. I'm really excited about this next thing at CBS 8 o'clock. And I'm surprised this was on a Sunday night. You have any guesses? Any guesses?
No, I have no guesses.
All right. Former subject of the podcast, Sybil.
Ooh, okay.
With Sybil Shepherd, Christine Baranski, Alicia Witt, and the guy that plays Ira. And,
the guy who was on the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, him. Great show. It's currently on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. I've been slowly going through it. And fun, cute little show. We might have to revisit it. We have to get back in that world. But I want to give a special shout out to that fun Instagram account, What Marianne Wore. And it's just like clips of Christine Baranski in like fun fucking outfits from Sybil. So.
Ooh, awesome.
All right, you ready for ABC 8:30?
What's on at 8:30?
All right, I remember the show, but I never watched it. Almost Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, this was an American sitcom that aired from 1995 to 1996, and the series focused on the professional life of a female executive producer of a television cop show.
That's the one with Nancy Travis, right?
Yeah, and then like her husband's an actual cop, and she like tries to like borrow stuff from his real life to put it like in her like wacky cop show.
Yes.
So it was like a fun.
I totally remember watching this show.
Yeah, I'd never seen it, but I remember like always like, ooh, this looks kind of fun, but it was on a Sunday night, and God, we know Sunday night is already like but Fox for me, that's a night at Fox for me.
Yeah, like I remember watching I think this is one of those shows that got moved around a bit too.
Yeah, it was canceled very quickly in its second season. Like it only lasted a few weeks, and I think they were like leftover episodes.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of like a burn-off situation.
Yeah, they just had a few in the can. Nancy Travis had a contract maybe with the network, like you have to air all these eps or I'll fucking sue your ass, girl. You ready for CBS 9 o'clock?
Yeah, what's on at 9?
All right, so CBS used to like air like Rockford File made-for-TV movies, and tonight was one of those movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Rockford Files, a popular cop show from the 70s, still doing TV movies in the 90s, and I know we got one of them, and James Garner, he's solving crimes with a truck driver. That was the Rockford Files, right? That was that one.
I think so, yeah.
Actually, he was a private investigator, not a cop.
I just know they tried to redo it a few years ago with, what's his face from Lost?
Sawyer? The guy who plays Sawyer?
Sawyer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something that every couple of years it comes up again. They're like, hey, maybe we'll do like a Rockford Files like reboot. Maybe we'll do a movie. But I'm sure CBS has something in the works.
Give CBS another 2 years and it'll be back.
Like, because I think they toyed with Magnum for like 4 or 5 years before it finally got released last year.
Yeah.
You ready to go over to Fox? You ready to end things off? Actually, we still have NBC, but you ready to go to Fox?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, what's on Fox?
All right. Fox, 7 p.m. Do you remember Space Above and Beyond?
No, I do not.
All right, so this was a sci-fi series, very short-lived. It's set in the years 2063. The show focuses on the wild cards, members of the U.S. Marine Corps, but they're now in space, and they are stationed on the carrier USS Saratoga, and I don't know, they fly through space and like do shit. Kristen Cloak is on it. That's all I remember. She played the teacher on Final Destination.
Oh, okay.
I watched it a few times. I think they tried to make it like the new Star Trek, but I don't know, never caught on. Never became a thing.
Okay.
I'm really excited about this next thing. Fox, 8 o'clock, any guesses?
Nope, none.
You don't have an inkling of what could possibly be on a Fox at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night? Not even a goddamn clue, Cat Hall said the author.
No, I have no clue, Patrick.
The Simpsons, yeah. All right, guess what episode's tonight?
1996. Something good. A classic.
Oh, yeah. It's the one where George Bush moves next door to Homer.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, this is a wild episode. I remember this when it aired, and I remember just giggling. I remember it was snowing outside and just sitting inside with my hot cocoa. We had the next day off of school because of a badass blizzard, and yeah, it was great. Shout out to that night.
Yes, that is a good episode.
Shout out. All right, you ready for Fox 8:30?
Okay, what's up next?
All right, Martin. Yeah, Martin's on Sunday night still.
Okay.
And then we roll into Married with Children at 9. Yeah, the Bundys. Get to hang out with Alan Pegg. And then one of my favorite shows, mostly a forgotten classic, starring our gal pal Deborah Messing, Ned and Stacy.
I love Ned and Stacy. I love it so much. Oh my god. No, really, I love that show so much.
Yeah, it was great. It was on for a few years. It got moved around a lot, I think, a few times. It never really caught on with the masses.
Yeah, it got moved around a few times.
Yeah.
There was definitely some retooling at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but man, that was a good show.
Yeah, they added, like, new friends and stuff. The friend group changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you ready for NBC? You ready for the Peacock?
Yeah, what's on NBC?
All right, I can't believe the show was on Sunday. I can't believe it. Mad About You.
Really?
Yeah, Mad About You is a lead into Newsradio. Believe that or not. Remember last night I tweeted you and I said I was in a dilemma. Should I watch Newsradio or Mad About You?
Yeah, and then I tweeted you the picture of both complete series sets.
I have to talk about this Mad About You DVD. Can we get into it for a minute?
Yeah.
Did you bought the complete series on DVD, right? The box set?
Ryan gave it to me, actually. But yeah, I have the complete series.
All right. The transfer to DVD is awful. Like, I don't know. For some reason, it looks zoomed in. Like the sides are missing. It's not like widescreen, but it's just like zoomed in. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was just my DVD player was broken, but then I Googled it and people were complaining about it. That it looks like the top and bottom and sides are missing from this. Because sometimes like names and the credits get cut off and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, like, come on, you had one job to get Mad About You on DVD and you failed at that. How could you, DVD company? How could you?
It took them forever to get it too because of music rights.
Yeah, because isn't there like popular music in episodes of Mad About You?
Yeah, just like there is with older episodes of Friends.
Yeah.
You will randomly have like just actual real songs of the time woven into stuff or like used for montage scenes occasionally or something silly like that.
Yeah, that's my favorite. My least favorite thing about the 90s was that they actually started using pop music in their series, but they never thought of like, in 15 years, all this stuff's going to be released on video, and these bands are going to want to get paid.
Well, yeah, because they thought, who's going to go and buy like every episode of Newsradio on a video cassette? They didn't even think about DVDs or streaming or any of that stuff. Like, it wasn't in their conscious yet.
Yeah, which is why, like, we get entire episodes of 90210 that they can't even put on Hulu because of it.
Yeah, or, like, you can't get episodes of, like, Wonder Years without, like, the music edited out and replaced.
Oh, yeah, and
or WKRP.
Yeah. Well, WKRP was, like, trailblazer because that was, like, 70s, early 80s, and they didn't even imagine, like, that, like, video cassette wasn't even imagined. Syndication barely was a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. You ready for NBC 8:30?
Yeah, it's on at 8:30.
All right. Newsradio. Yeah, Newsradio. We'll get there in a minute. But I'm really excited about NBC 9 o'clock.
What is it?
We mentioned her very briefly at the top of the hour. A made-for-TV movie starring Kathy Ireland and David Hasselhoff in a movie together.
Called what?
Called Gridlock. You ready? You ready for the summary?
Yeah.
This is an action movie. NBC did a made-for-TV action movie about a helicopter cop sets out to foil an elaborately orchestrated crime, but when a team of bank robbers put their sophisticated plan into action by creating a diversion, the cop finds himself going up against them on his own in order to save both the city and his girlfriend, Kathy Ireland. So Oooga.
Oh my God.
David Hasselhoff and Kathy Ireland are fucking. Yeah, they're fucking up a storm, but now she's in danger, girl. Girl, you in danger, to quote Whoopi Goldberg.
This sounds like the most 90s movie possible.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I've never seen it, but we got to find it. We definitely got to find it. And we gotta.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Maybe we'll do Kathy Ireland, a Kathy Ireland Christmas next year, and we'll watch all of Kathy Ireland's library of hits, including Gridlock.
Oh, my God.
What's your take on this night of television, Kat Halstead? What's your take?
It's a weird night of television. This is not the night I was expecting.
This is like a good mashup of hits, newsmakers.
Like, you got comedy. You've got something for everyone, though.
Well, I think Sunday typically is the night for everybody. You got like moms watching the Sybil in the living room. The kids are upstairs watching The Simpsons. Maybe dad's watching this Kathy Ireland movie because he wanted to masturbate to her.
Because we know it's not really for the Hoff, but he'll say it's for the Hoff.
I like we're at peak Baywatch right now, so they're like, hey, it's Mitch. Look, it's Mitch. Mitch and Kathy Ireland. Yeah. Maybe Kathy Ireland should put on a bikini and go down to the beach next season.
And do the slow motion run.
Shout out to Kathy Ireland and her cardboard cutouts that were at like liquor stores all of 1992.
They were not the type of cardboard cutouts that Julia Sugarbaker was running over, though.
Call back to last week's episode. And if you have a Kathy Ireland cardboard cutout, please tweet us at Very Podcast and send us one. And we'll put it in the AVSP Museum.
What other delightful items can you find in the AVSP Museum, Patrick?
You can find the red bat phone from Batman 66. You can also find the Doctor Who TARDIS. I don't know, the Roseanne couch.
Yeah.
Some bonbons that Peg Bundy eats. We have a package of bonbons behind a glass window, and I don't know, that like the painting of the sailboat that's the Simpsons have. You can find all kinds of stuff in the AVSP Museum. It's quite a scream.
That is true.
You ready to go to AM radio? You ready to get into some AM radio?
Yes, I am ready to drop in on our good old friends at WNYX Newsradio.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's been a while since I've last dipped into the world of news radio. I would say it's been over 10 years.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've last got in there.
I rewatch this series every so often because it's one of my favorites.
You get through the whole thing? You get through the whole show?
Yeah.
Ooh, look at you.
Even that rough last year without Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
But you get the DB Cooper storyline that season, so that's kind of fun.
I definitely went into the John Lovitz here excited, but as it went on, there was a huge chunk of the show was missing, and it was obviously the loss of Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, this was not Phil Hartman's show. This was not a Phil Hartman vehicle. This was a vehicle for Dave Foley. I always forget that.
It was definitely Dave Foley was the one who they were spotlighting, but it was very much an ensemble.
Phil Hartman, he was the breakout star. He's the Kramer of the show, so to say. He was the wacky on-air personality. He had a great voice. He had some funny quips here and there, and he meshed well with everybody in the cast. Everyone in this cast meshed very well. It actually looked like they were just riffing. And I think I've listened to Joe Rogan's podcast, and he'll talk about news radio here and there, and he says a lot of the show was the writers would write the show, and then Dave Foley would you know what, this is not going to work. We should do this instead. And he would just make stuff up on the spot. So a lot of the stuff that you're seeing was improvised and just last minute changes to the script, all courtesy of Dave Foley. So it was great. It's you kind of get this realistic vibe when you watch a show too. It doesn't seem rehearsed lines. So it's quite the show. I just have to throw it out there. It was very. It kind of it was zany at times too. It got very Night Court-esque in a way. Yeah. Where things got very out there, and it was kind of unheard of for an NBC sitcom. Zany sitcoms was Fox's thing. Is what I used to think.
Yeah, it was not your typical 90s NBC sitcom. And definitely not your typical one set in New York. It didn't really cross over with the others the way Mad About You crossed over with Seinfeld and Friends and The Single Guy or whatever, or Caroline in the City, you know?
Yeah, I believe that all those, that NBC New York City universe, all exist like in the same place. But this show, I think, this is like an alternate reality. Newsradio is just like Earth 2 doesn't exist on this domain, so it's great. Like it's just a fun little world, and like so you have what's it? Like Stephen Root plays like Jimmy Jones.
Jimmy James.
Based on a Beastie Boys song. That's how they named him after. He's this like media conglomerate, and he's like a billionaire. And for some reason, he's like just finds himself meddling in this like small time like AM radio. Like apparently this is like his like pet project that he like pays most attention to, which is great. Like, and he micromanages the fuck out of it.
Yes, he does. Like, honestly, I feel like Jimmy James and I are on that same level of micromanaging, because I can definitely micromanage shit.
Like, you come in and you just have to nitpick at every little detail. And...
like, you have a certain, like, I know when I'm running stuff, I have a high standard, and it, like, bugs the hell out of me if people I know how to do stuff are just half-assing it.
Oh, look at you.
Let's just say maybe you have a coworker who should know how to fill out paperwork correctly, because paperwork's not that complicated. But they're like, nah, I'm not going to really fill this out. What are you going to do to me, you know? And I'm like, you got to fill this fuck out. Fill it out properly.
Well, girl, paperwork is tedious. Paperwork is tedious, girl. It's annoying. No one wants to do paperwork. It's 2019. Who the fuck wants to do paperwork?
Gotta have a paper trail.
Speaking of Kat Halstead being angry at work, this kind of like parlays into the episode we're doing, Bitch Session. Yeah, this is a great episode. So this is like where the gang is just upset with Dave Foley.
First we gotta set this up.
Yeah, set the scene.
So Dave is in his office and he's on the phone, just like trying to make phone calls, but the phone keeps going out because the jack has gone bad.
Yeah, it's a bad jack.
You know, it gets tugged at too much, it gets kicked, whatever it is, it just needs to be replaced. And he's just like, Joe, just go down the street to the electronics shop, spend the 25 cents to replace the jack. And Joe's all like, no, I'll just like fix it with these parts I have here. And it's like, dude, just go down to the goddamn store and spend 25 cents.
So Joe, who's played by Joe Rogan, he's the repairman, but he insists on like physically actually modifying technology to hit, like he won't go out and buy like a new phone jack or a wire or whatever. He wants to get in there and fix it with his hands. He wants to get down and dirty, and he like that's his style of character. And he's also a conspiracy theorist. He has all these like wild theories too.
Joe is amazing, and I love him.
So he's like down on his hands and knees. He's like under Dave's desk trying to like fix this while like Dave's on like an important like business call. Someone comes to the room. I think is it Bill McNeil, played by Phil Hartman? Is it Bill that comes in the room?
Yeah, I believe so. Bill comes in. He's like, hey, Joe, I need you to do something for me. I need you to make me a voice modifier.
And he walks in and he sees like Joe pop up like out of his knees, and he's like, oh, he's like, what's going on in here? Like, why is Dave Foley sitting there with a smile on his face, and Joe pops up, and he's like, Bill's like, hey Dave, does your wife know about this? And it's funny because they just kind of like play it off, like they don't even like try to deny anything. They just play it off, and Joe just makes like a weird little smile on his face, and he's like, well, you caught us.
Yeah.
You caught us, girl. You caught me giving Dave a blowjob.
Yeah, so it's just like that's the kind of thing that just like happens on this show all the time.
So we cut over to the theme song. That was just like the intro. We get that fun little like quirky intro that has like nothing to do with the episode really. I guess they're getting ready for a business little like weekly meeting or something.
Yeah, like they have like these different like they have to have like a shift meeting is the best way to describe it. Like you kind of go over where everybody is with what they're doing.
Yes.
And what needs to be done for certain people, like, oh, hey, Beth, you need to mail out all these invoices by 4 o'clock today. Or, Lisa, what's going on with that story you've been working on for the last week? Or whatever, you know? Matthew, what is it you even do?
Yeah, everyone's working on this. Bill's still worried about his voice modifier. He's trying to get Joe into it. And Dave's on like an important call, too, and the call keeps cutting off. And so he's like, oh, fine. So he goes like under his desk to like see if he can fix the wire.
Hold on, you skipped ahead because that's after the meeting.
Okay, all right.
And then, so they have the meeting and, you know, Dave just does whatever Dave does. Like, he's just running the meeting and it dismisses and he goes into his office to try and do this phone call. It keeps cutting out. He goes under the desk to try and fiddle with the jack. After Beth is like, hey, Dave, you got to go to the dentist. And Dave's like, ugh. And he goes under, and Beth thinks Dave has left. And that's when everybody just starts kind of wandering into Dave's office.
Yes, and it turns into a bitch session. So we find out that they have like a weekly bitch session about Dave. And they always like create ways for him to leave the office for a little bit because they feel like that it's kind of like mischievous if they do it while like in his office and talk about him.
Like they usually do it in the break room because he's not in there, but they're like, ooh, the office is empty. Let's go hang out in here and be extra naughty.
Yeah, it's kind of like the forbidden fruit. So they're really excited about it. And everyone's getting like super extra, including like Maura Tierney's character, Lisa. Is that her name?
Yeah.
All right, so Lisa and Dave are dating. Yeah, they're an item.
Yes. They joke about how young he looks. Like, does he buy his clothes in the little boys section? Because he's also not a very tall man. So, and he looks like he's 14. You know, he looks young.
Yeah, they say he looks like a 14-year-old like in a very baggy suit. And he does. Like, he actually does. It's like it's when I see Steve Buscemi wearing a suit. Like, Steve Buscemi just looks like a 10-year-old at a wedding wearing like an oversized suit. Like, slim. Like, I don't know, like, for some reason, like, slim people always look funny in suits. Just unless you get like a real, like a tight one, like a slim fit.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like in the 90s, this was probably like the best fitting suit he could have gotten.
Yeah, because I don't think slim fit was like in style in the 90s. It wasn't a thing.
Yeah, slim fit wasn't really like a thing. 90s was definitely bigger and baggier just in general.
Yeah, it's like that, like, is it two, like, 10-year-olds standing on top of each other, like, with, like, all this like, extra bag room, like a Little Rascals sketch?
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking of. And Bill McNeil, like, does, like, Dave is short joke, so he gets down on his knees and he comes into the office. He has this, like one-man play that he does with Khandi Alexander's character.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at me, I'm Dave Foley, whatever his name is on the show. Is his name? I know his name's Dave. Right?
Dave Nelson.
Dave Nelson. Look at me, I'm Dave Nelson. Here. And they had this little, they keep talking about, like, the way he holds his coffee. Mm-hmm. He holds his mug a very specific way, and they count the number of times that he almost puts his mug down on the table, but then, like, pulls it up at the last minute. I guess that's, like, a little quirk that they notice he has. Like, if you work very closely with people and you're around them a lot of times, you start noticing these little habits that people have. So, like, you notice things like that, like, oh, like, it's weird that Dave Nelson, like, he holds the mug. He never puts it down, but he almost does, and he picks it back up, and he'll do it, like, 12 times. Or he, like, doesn't know what to do with his hand, or, like, he always, like, is that something you ever, like, figure out in your office? Do you ever pick up on those little...
I'm pretty sure there are people who've noticed things like that with me and, like, whatever iced beverage I'm drinking that day. It's either like an iced coffee or an iced Coca-Cola, depending on the time of day. But yeah, like I'll have that big thing because I'll have like a big gulp or a large like Dunkin's iced coffee in my hand while I'm walking up and down the rows.
Let's be real. Do you think your staff has bitch sessions about you? Do you think they get together and when you're not around and just riff on Cat Halstead? Cat Halstead, the boss lady?
Oh, I'm 100% sure. Not gonna lie. I know that they rip on the other people in my position, so why wouldn't they rip on me?
Oh yeah. Do you think you have a crazy nickname?
God, I hope not.
If you had to take a guess, what do you think your nickname is that they call you?
No, I'm not gonna guess. I'm not gonna guess something like that.
Oh, I always wonder if people like where I work have like a weird nickname about me. Like it's always like on the back of my head because like I'm always like coming up with like nicknames for people like that I work with. Like you have like your little like friend group at work and you have nicknames for people. Then you have like the ones in your head that you don't tell anyone else about.
So I have a nickname for one of the coaches at work. I call him Panda. And I do that because one day he insists that this girl named Hannah told him her name was Panda, and he actually put it on the paperwork. And like a few days later, he's like, we asked him to go like switch her. We were like, go switch Hannah to this project, and he's like, no, that's Panda. And we looked at him like, oh no. And he's like, yeah, that's her name. We're like, no. It's Hannah.
Like he misheard it? Like he didn't hear it right?
Like he misheard it and then he was like so sure her name is Panda. So now I call him Panda.
Isn't there is someone like
And then other people call him Panda.
Isn't there like a model or like an actress named Panda?
There might be. I don't know.
I feel like there was. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just like thinking of the story that you're telling me. And I don't know. Who knows? I think you probably have. I can't remember. Let's be real. So, yeah.
Maybe. I've probably told this story before.
So yeah, that's like fun work nicknames, and like that's kind of like the bit session. You know what? It's kind of like a shitty thing, but it's also like a healthy thing because it kind of leads us into like the way the rest of the episode plays out. So Dave Nelson's under the desk. He's listening to everyone like talk about him. Khandi Alexander's character, she actually like walks behind the desk very briefly, and she sees Dave, and she doesn't say anything. She's just like, you know what? Like Dave's a great man. I got to get back to work, and she like bolts out of the room very quickly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she kind of like, shame on you for doing this. Shame on you, but I gotta get back to work. I don't know. I gotta work on today's stories.
She kind of chastises everybody too.
And like as they're all like walking out, you know, they're like, oh, that was a great one man play, Bill McNeil. I can't believe you come up with one of these like every day. Like you're so talented. I can't believe you come up with like one of these every day. So they all leave. Dave's like shell shocked. He like crawls out from behind his office, picks up his phone, and calls his mom.
Yeah.
That's when we cut over to his little like his lunch, his like liquid lunch with Jimmy James, his boss.
Yeah, and he's telling Jimmy all about what happened, but he doesn't mention that he was under the desk, and everybody makes it sound like he was hiding on purpose. He wasn't. And second of all, it's his goddamn office. Like, all of you guys invaded his space.
So we get like a very fun scene at the restaurant. So it's probably like noon. I'm guessing it's like midday. They're at the restaurant. Jimmy James is drunk. He's just been like drinking up a storm. I guess that's what he does every day. He just casually drinks throughout the day, runs his company.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
What else does he really have to do?
And he's yelling at like he keeps seeing people like in the restaurant. And he's calling them the wrong names. Speaking of Panda. Mm-hmm. Dave's correcting him. He's like, no, that's not Matt. That's Alex. And he's like, oh yeah, well, same difference.
Yeah.
Dave's just kind of like talking to him. He's like, you know, I heard my staff talking about me. Like, I don't know if I can work there anymore. Like, they think I'm a child. They think I'm a child in a suit. They think I micromanage the fuck out of this place. Like, they don't like my girlfriend. Yeah, my girlfriend of all like people like just thinks these same things about me. And he's like, what do I do? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, they're gonna talk about you. They're gonna talk about the boss. Is that when he finds out that he was like hiding? No,
he finds that out when they go back to the office.
Oh yeah,
and they confront everybody.
Yeah, oh yeah, because
and Jimmy's like, "Wait, you were hiding under the desk?" Like, there's really no good time to come out from like where you are when that's happening.
Yeah, I've thought about that because I'm like, you know what? Like, if let's say you're cleaning out a closet or something. And your family comes in and starts making fun of you, and you hear them. It's like, do you just like pop up and go, I'm here? Or do you just like stay there and cry? Like, what do you do?
I mean, I would stay and then cry.
And then like wait for them to tiptoe away.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's awkward. They go back to the office, and Jimmy like builds Dave up for the courage to make that like the announcement that like he heard them all. And that's when Jimmy finds out that Dave was hiding like the whole time. And Jimmy's like, wait, you were hiding? Like, you pansy? You were hiding?
But the thing is, it's not like he went under the desk too high and see what happens. He went to go try to fix that stupid phone jack.
That's when everyone popped in. Yeah, they did the pop by.
Yeah. They all just popped in, invaded his space.
Yeah, so...
Like, what are they even doing, like, in his office if he's not there? Like, come on.
Well, I think it was the forbidden fruit element. That was just the whole thing. It's just like, oh, it's like fun. He's going to hide on the side. Well, it's like fun. It's like, we're going to go in his office. We're going to just talk about him in his personal space. You know, this is like where he hangs out all day. This is where he keeps his coffee mug. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun doing it here. It's a great time. It'd be like, let's be real. You know it would be fun to sneak into your boss's office, sit at his desk, and talk about him.
I don't know.
Her. I guess you're an honest one, so look at you.
All right.
So meanwhile, we have this like B subplot going on where Bill McNeil's character is like so intent on getting this like voice modifier, and Joe like insists on like making his own. So he gets like duct tape, he gets some like paper clips.
Yes, Joe makes his own duct tape. He's got his own recipe.
He keeps attaching weird things to the board. Mm-hmm. And he can't quite get it right. So like at one point, Bill's voice is like very high pitched. He sounds like an alien. Then at another point, it's like way too deep. So they start doing little pranks. They start playing some pranks on Andy Dick's character, which I always forget that Andy Dick's on the show for some reason. It always surprises me every time I see him.
Fuck Andy Dick. Fuck you, Andy Dick.
Total weird dude. Very weird dude. Did you ever watch the Andy Dick show on MTV?
Yes, and that was fucked up.
I just remember the episode where he dresses up like Christina Aguilera. Mm-hmm. When I think of Andy Dick, I just think of him dressed as Christina Aguilera. And I also think of him on, what's the movie where the guys go back to college with Will Ferrell?
Old School.
Yeah, Old School. And I just picture him like he's like the blowjob instructor.
Oh my God, I blocked that out.
That's when I think of Andy Dick. Those are the two roles I think of.
I blocked that out.
You don't want to invite Andy Dick, the blowjob instructor, over to your house to give you a lesson on how to give a blowjob?
No.
Mind the stepchildren. Don't forget to mind the stepchildren.
No.
Talk about the testicles. Yeah, talking about the testicles. All right, how does this episode end? Cat Hall said the author. How does this episode end?
The staff all gathered in Jimmy's office, and Jimmy's like, okay, so you guys really have a problem with Dave? Okay, I guess I'll find a new news director tomorrow. I'll get rid of him if you're all this unhappy. And they're like, no, we love Dave. Matthew's like, if you fire Dave, I quit. And, they all kind of, stand up for Dave. And Bill, says, that Dave is the best news director he's ever worked with. He's like, you can't get rid of Dave. He's actually really good. We respect him. We're so sorry we did this, yada, yada, yada. And then, leave to go get a drink, and it's revealed that Jimmy had Dave hiding behind a curtain so he could hear all the nice things they said.
Yes, and it's a very, very joyful moment. And then, so then Jimmy's like, all right, well, now that we've patched things up with your staff, he's like, do you think it's time that you give your girlfriend Lisa another shot? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, what she said, the staff saying one thing about me, that's one thing, but my own girlfriend saying something about me, I don't know if I can get over that. And Dave walks away, and then Jimmy walks over and, opens up another curtain, and there's Lisa, and he's like, well, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's all right. She's like, I have some tricks up my sleeve to get him to like me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of great. It's kind of funny because it's like, oh, I want to fix two birds with one stone.
Doesn't always work.
Yeah, I feel like Jimmy has probably done this move a lot of times, and
probably
it's probably worked every time, but this was the one time it didn't work, so it's kind of funny. It's like he didn't run after Dave to try to stop it. He's like, we cut away. Fun cute little episode. And maybe he wanted to watch 11 more episodes. Let's be real.
Yes, I love Newsradio. Like I've said, I have watched the entire series multiple times.
You ready for a game?
I'm never ready for your games.
All right, we're gonna play the Boys of Newsradio. Fuck, marry, kill. You ready for it?
Oh God, give it to me.
All right, so I gotta pick three. All right, we're gonna go with Joe Rogan. We're gonna go with Dave Foley. We're gonna go with Stephen Root, Jimmy James. I'm sorry, I can't put Phil Hartman in a fuck, marry, kill scenario.
No.
Can't do it. All right, so Joe Rogan, Dave Foley, and Stephen Root, who plays Jimmy James. Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay, definitely gonna fuck Joe.
Yeah, oh yeah, Cat Halson's gonna ride him all night long, feel his muscles, run your hand on his six-pack.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah, do you want to marry Dave? I'm sure he'd be a fun husband, but at the same time, probably would drive you nuts. Let's be real. He probably runs home to Mother a lot. Probably calls Mother all the time anytime there's a problem. Do you think he can handle that? Do you think he can deal with a naggy mother-in-law?
I was totally expecting you to give me Andy Dick, and I was going to be like, that shithole's dead.
Oh, no, I wanted a challenge, girl. I wanted a challenge.
This is a challenge. Ooh.
All right, I'll give you my take. I think I would marry Jimmy James because he looks better in a suit, so the wedding pictures will come out better. They'll look great. It wouldn't look like that I'm marrying a toddler.
Wait, are we marrying the characters or the actors?
The characters.
Well, then, yeah, you marry Jimmy.
Yeah.
Because he's a billionaire, let's be real.
Yeah, you marry him. And he looks better in a suit, so, the wedding pictures look better.
And, hello, Hawaii Mansion.
Yeah, oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. We don't even have to go the doctor route. We can go the media mogul route. And then, so, bye, Dave Foley, Dave Nelson, whatever his name is. Goodbye, girl. So, Jimmy James, media mogul, Do you think he's the Donald Trump of this universe, of this alternate reality?
I think he's friends with Donald Trump in this universe. I think it's mentioned.
Do you think he's on Trump's presidential staff? Do you think he's like the communications coordinator or something?
No, he is not the mooch.
You don't think he replaced the mooch after the mooch got fired?
No.
11 days after his role? Trump's like, you know what? I'm going to call my friend Jimmy James. He knows what he's doing. He looks great in a suit.
Oh, please. Do you know who Donald Trump would have hired from this universe? He would have hired freaking Matthew.
Matthew's Andy Dick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. And then I could see, like, 11 days later, Andy Dick wildly fucking up in office, like doing something, gets himself in the papers, gets himself in not the papers, what am I talking about? I'm dating myself. Get himself in a news headline on Twitter. Twitter's a buzz about what Matthew did.
All he has to do is say the wrong thing, and BuzzFeed will eat that shit up.
Oh yeah, there's like 11 reasons why Matthew's problematic. The new communications coordinator, Matthew. Shout out to Matthew, the new communications coordinator. That's all I got to say. All right, any last minute thoughts on News Radio?
You know about Andy Dick's feud with John Lovitz, right?
And I've forgotten, so you're gonna remind me.
Okay, so this is from Wikipedia. This is like a little thing about it. On July 10th, 2007, Dick and former News Radio co-star John Lovitz got into a physical confrontation at the Laugh Factory in LA. The two had a history of several previous disagreements concerning the death of their mutual friend Phil Hartman. According to Lovitz, Dick had given Hartman's wife Bryn cocaine at a Christmas party at Hartman's house in 1997. Bryn, a recovering addict, fell back into drug use, culminating in her killing Hartman and herself on May 28, 1998. When Lovitz joined the cast of News Radio as Hartman's replacement, he and Dick got into an argument in which Lovitz reportedly said, "I wouldn't be here if you hadn't given Bryn coke in the first place." Lovitz reportedly later apologized to Dick for the remark. In early 2007, Dick approached Lovitz at a restaurant and said, "I put the Phil Hartman hex on you. You're the next to die." At the Laugh Factory, Lovitz demanded an apology from Dick, who refused and accused Lovitz of blaming him for Hartman's death. Lovitz then smashed Dick's head into the bar.
What? All right. I didn't know about this feud. Whoa, this is hotter than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe they played pranks on each other on the set, but whoa, right. Someone get Ryan Murphy on the horn. We got the Andy Dick feud season.
This is
wild,
crazier than Betty and Joan, man.
I know. I'm like, what kind of Andy Dick wigs does Ryan Murphy have in his wig closet? Whoa.
Find them for us, Ryan Murphy. Find them.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, maybe we'll get this after Charles and Diana. Wild stuff.
What the hell is anything? What is even coming up next from Ryan Murphy? I don't even know anymore. He has like 20 million series planned, and I don't know when anything airs.
I feel like it's always like in development hell. Like it's just stuck in development, and then all of a sudden it's like premiering next week, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like I didn't realize this was coming out next week. What?
Yeah.
What?
Or it's like you get like a random picture of Darren Criss with like his covering himself up after a sunburn, and then like it's like, oh yeah, the show's starting.
Yeah, Darren Criss had a Speedo, and Kat Halson's like all flushed.
I love me some Darren Criss.
Tweeting pics of Darren Speedo to me and Steven in our group chat, and then we have to like talk about that for 2 weeks because I don't know. Kat Halson's horny for some Darren Dick. Yeah. Wild stuff. That was last year's DMs for like a month straight. It was a little like Speedo corner, Speedo spotlight. All right. What are we doing next week, girl? What are we doing next week?
Crap. My planner's in my purse. I don't know.
I know what we're doing because I actually...
How many times do I say that?
Every fucking week except for like last week because we made the list last week.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
All right.
It's like I could almost reach my purse, but I'm too lazy to get up.
All right. We're venturing into new territory. Something we've never done before. We're going back to the 70s. We've talked about doing this a few times over the last few years, but we never quite formulated it. We're going to go to a controversial time in history where, I don't know, people started getting a little more dicey on television. We're no longer in Mayberry. We're no longer doing the physical comedy aspects of like the Lucy shows and stuff. We're going to get a little spicy. We're going to go to Hauser Street. Yes, I think it's 704 Hauser Street. We're going to spend a night with the Bunkers. Yeah. Archie and Edith and Meathead and Sally Struthers and, I don't know, the Sanfords who live next door, and who knows? Who knows who will stop by? Who knows who'll be knocking at the door, and Archie will get in a fight with somebody, get into an argument, a heated argument over, I don't know, something in the newspaper that day that sets him off.
Yeah.
Maybe Meathead sat in his chair. And who knows? We're doing all the family, girl.
All in the family.
Yeah, boy, the way Glenn Miller played. Yeah, we haven't picked out an episode, but I don't know, if you have any suggestions, send us a hot tweet at Very Podcast. Maybe tell us which one to do. Maybe we'll take it up if we can find it. There's many to choose from. Maybe we'll do an early episode. Maybe we'll go to the end of the series run. Maybe we'll do a middle ground.
It might just be whatever we can find.
Most likely that. It'll be like the random episode we'll find on MeTV like at 1:30 a.m. next week, because we realize we can't find any others, so that's what we're going to do. Where can you follow us, Kat Halstead, the author? Where can you follow our wild adventures?
You can follow us on Twitter at Very Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at A Very Special Podcast. Do not accept imitations. You can find us at averyspecialpodcast.com and saltyrockmedia.com.
Yeah, so follow all our adventures, and as always, Kat Halstead, the author, as always,
Bye!
look under the desk, because your boss may be hidden under it.
You're such a dork.